I would like to share my 3 points why I think the organizations representing engineering interest and profession, but also engineers themselves, should speak up during the World Engineering Day, but also during every day. The point number 1 I would like to share with you is that listening to engineers will not happen without engineers raising their voice. It has become obvious, at least for some researchers and politicians, that achieving sustainable development goals without engineering expertise will be a failed mission. Still, I observe an interesting paradox in the recognition of engineering profession. Engineers, like doctors, lawyers, architects, are in the same category of highly educated and prestigious profession. In the organization I represent, we work on promoting engineering know-how in our societies and on engaging engineers sharing their expertise. Still, while there is no doubt about what lawyers, doctors, architects do and achieve, understanding how engineers are improving our lives is still lagging behind. So we really must create spaces for engineers to raise their voice and opinion on matters like green transition, circular economy, responsible development of AI, etc. My point number 2 is engineers must take responsibility for sharing their know-how across borders. The aspiration of Sustainable Development Agenda is that no one should be left behind. This is not a journey for a lonely thinker. Engineers have an international career and experience of sharing their know-how across borders. In the Association of Nordic Engineers, we work closely with Engineers Without Borders in the capacity building project with the Engineering Institution of Sierra Leone. Such type of activities should be really supported. We are privileged in the Nordic region, and therefore we should show solidarity and make sure that there are positive outcomes for all of us. But also within our European geographical borders, we need to support the EU single market so that our engineers can really benefit from its 4 freedoms, learn from each other and get the innovation to blossom. And also, very importantly, we should strive for making sure that engineers' interests are reflected and anchored in the EU industrial strategy. The point number 3 is, without cooperation and engineers, we are lost. It's really not a time for shutting borders and for national navel gazing. It's time for strengthening the cooperation and creating new partnerships. And Nordics have really a good experience in cooperation. This year, we are celebrating 50 years anniversary of Nordic cooperation, and this has to be cherished. In the Association of Nordic Engineers, we represent more than 500,000 engineers in the region. And it's a privilege. And our member organizations really like this cooperation because they get inspired, but in the same time, we also make the engineer's voice louder. You know, there are actually 2 ways to bring the light. It's to be the candle or a mirror that reflects its light. We need engineers being the light of knowledge. And we need the organizations to be the mirror that reflects its light and brings this light broader. You know, in the beginning of my talk, I asked you a question. When was the last time you talked or wrote about the role of engineering profession? But my question should have been actually different. So when is your next time when you will shed the light on the engineering profession?